Okay, everyone, let's see if we can change some minds tonight. Matt, what are we talking about?
So it's been 6 months since the insurrection attempt, and we're going to look at some of the numbers behind that, which Shal give us in a little bit here. But I think Matt especially kind of wants to dive into some of the significance of that and kind of why it seems like the importance of it's been lost. Because again, like it seems like basic to I think the people here and probably the people in the chat, but the peaceful transition of power, right, like the very backbone of a republic, of a democratic nation, the peaceful transition of power itself, the kind of thing that separates you from authoritarian type of regimes and countries, was put on pause because like the election was directly attacked. And to Matt's point, it seems like a lot of people don't understand the significance of that. So I'll kind of leave it there and let you jump into what you're kind of talking about before we even got going.
I'm going to backtrack all the way to the 2016 election because I think this just kind of my thought process for the 2016 election kind of like sets the stage for 2020. So in 2016, I think like most of us, we were absolutely in shock that Donald Trump won the election. And I think even the Republican establishment was looking for ways out of it. And there was the discussions of the faithless electors. And if you guys remember, John Kasich, I think, got an electoral vote. What's his name? Evan McMillan from, I think that's his name, from Utah, was talking about if there's disruption on the electors, then he can throw his name in the hat and all this stuff. So there was all this confusion. There's all this stuff. And my thought process was, at this point in time, yeah, we do not like the fact that Donald Trump got elected president, but we have to accept it. It's a responsibility of the nation to accept the peaceful transition of power. It is awfully dangerous. And I couldn't imagine in 2016 if that had happened and the electorals were all thrown out and they were like, nope, we're going to kind of do what we're going to do. We would have seen something similar on January 6th. We would have seen that in 2016. So I think it's important to remember, like, this is something that it doesn't matter what side you are on, right? Like the democracy, the nation, that is what matters, peaceful transition of power. And, I think, so my thought process was the same leading up to 2020. And you saw him laying the stage. He had done it periodically in different elections. From 2012 when he lost the primary when he ran against Obama, in 2016 when he lost Iowa against Ted Cruz, and then leading into 2020, the media had asked him a number of times, hey, are you going to step down? Are you going to accept the results of the election? Oh, I don't know. You saw the attacks on the post office. You saw all these things kind of setting the stage. And I said to a friend in March, I was like, dude, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be a close election. And they're going to say everything that we were doing in March and April is fraudulent and this is going to go down. Well, fast forward to January 6th, and what was the first image that we saw was of the meme of them walking in between the ropes and everybody kind of making fun of look at, if this is an insurrection, look at these people walking, very nicely and courteously in through the ropes. And that meme, and it was funny and we were all laughing at it, but that meme, I think, laid the groundwork for like the narrative of the right? Like, this is just tourists. This is just, it's not what you think or whatever. But I think our initial like, kind of fog of war type stuff. You've got all these different media outlets pushing all this information to you. You always have to take a step back and kind of read through it all and see it all to kind of make up your decision to see, okay, what actually did happen. And it's usually the first bit of information that is out is what people believe and what people listen to. And it's hard to break them of that. And so I think that the whole rope, people walking in between the ropes, I think just it downplayed the significance of everything that actually happened on January 6th.
100%. Like, I think people are sometimes like surprised if you show them some of the footage, like the actual direct footage of some of the violence, especially like in the actual like building itself, some of the kind of halls and things like that, where it's like kind of tighter space. And I mean, you had hundreds of people hand-to-hand combat for an hour plus. And when you show them that footage, a lot of people are surprised, dude. Like, they're like surprised by just how vicious it is. And I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised that more people weren't actually like killed, dude, in the whole thing. Like, it's kind of like mind blowing to me that it was as minimal as it was.
Yeah, they said 5 total deaths, either there or as a result of stuff. And then I think it was like 130 something police were injured. 100, maybe it was up to 150 police were injured.
140 plus. I saw anywhere from 140 to 150. 63 had concussions. So yeah, but that's the point right there. And I mean, it's the kind of always fun little line for me though. It's like the same camp that's so pro cop, that's so pro Constitution, right? So pro USA. What are we doing, man?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's a common thing that I try to bring up in my videos, like a lot, is I like to talk about the insurrection because I think it's important to really discuss what happened that day. It's important for everybody to know that it wasn't this peaceful little jaunt into the Capitol. And the other thing is, the Blue Lives Matter crowd, where were you that day? The Respect the Flag crowd, where were you that day? I saw you beating police with the American flag. And it's that hypocrisy of it all, that it's when I can use it as a political tool to benefit me, I will, but otherwise, screw you kind of thing. It just shows itself. The hypocrisy shows itself in what the Blue Lives Matter thing really is all about. They're okay when cops are shooting certain people, but when they're protecting the people they're supposed to protect, i.e. the Capitol, then they get upset. And I don't know if you watched any of the videos after the fact of the people being put on the no-fly lists and stuff like that. And I'll admit, I got a little bit of a, it's a Schadenfreude for me right there, or Schadenfreude, whatever the German. Yeah. That there was like this sense of like karma, right? These old white dudes who were, what do you mean, me? I can't fly? Like, this is my country. Like, this sense of entitlement, that they were absolutely shocked that they were going to be held accountable. And the fact that it was immediate. I mean, you see people crying in the airports. And I'll admit, like, I was glad to see that. I was like, you deserve that crap. You deserve to be arrested in jail. I mean,
but that's the point right there. These people are not connecting the gravity of their beliefs to what the subsequent action should be and what that actually means. Like, because it's the number I keep throwing around. Because to your point, you bring up the insurrection a lot because we're moving on from it too fast. Like, we haven't properly evaluated it, registered for what it is, and we don't fully understand it yet, and we've already moved past it. It's just crazy. So that's why I keep bringing up that about 65% of Republicans don't think Joe Biden's a legitimate president. That's a astronomically dangerously high number. Like, if they actually were to act upon that belief, dude.
But then you go back and look, why don't they believe it? They don't believe it because Donald Trump has been saying since every election, every race that he's running, if he loses, it's rigged, and they buy everything he tells them.
He's still saying races are rigged right now, even like races that are happening now and stuff, dude. He's still claiming it, like, on everything.
The other thing I think you guys have seen, like with me in topics, is the propaganda issue, is the inability to recognize propaganda. And like, I think I took a class on it in like high school talking about World War II Germany, where, hey, these are the tools that they use. And these are the things that make up propaganda. And this is what to watch out for. And it's like, man, how do you not see through the lie? I mean, it's such easily verifiable information, and you believe it so much that you're going to storm the Capitol. I mean, it's insane.
It's the power of that cult of personality they got going, man. Because that's the thing. Like, there's lots of definitions for fascism, but collective narcissism is one of them. Got a bunch of little narcissists bouncing their own little ideas off each other and a line behind Trump, regurgitating MAGA, parroting lines. Dude, it's really bad. Like we got a legit problem. And there's people who are way too happy just to put their head down and go on about the way, I don't like politics, or, oh, both sides are bad, or, oh, it doesn't really matter, or, as long as I'm eating, it's all good. It's like, yeah, dude, for now. We've seen this before.
And I think what was disgusting to me was the night it happened. We were glued to C-SPAN, and you had some Republicans be like, okay, this was real. Like, they did not realize the power of their words and the power of their actions. They thought, oh, it's just a game. We're here to have fun and get votes. And I don't think a lot of them, and there are some that did. I think Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz absolutely know what they're doing. Donald Trump, I think, knew what he was trying to do. But I don't think, I think that there were a handful that kept quiet, that let Trump just do his thing. We'll wait till January 6th, we'll certify. And you saw them changing their votes. You saw the guys, if you look at the footage of the vote, because I'll say this: if one thing Donald Trump has done, he has made us watch the most like boring political stuff because his actions have made us like, okay, stuff that shouldn't be a big deal is now a big deal, right? So we were glued to the TV that night, and there were politicians who had changed their minds on some of the other states that they were like, okay, we're not messing with this. And then you could see the anger in Mike Pence's face when it was one of the first states announced after they re-adjourned, and you could see the frustration in him, and I wouldn't say the fear, but you could sense that, right? And that night I felt like, okay, people are going to be held accountable. Like even Mitch McConnell said in his speech, Donald Trump is directly responsible, and he used the word insurrection.
But what happened when he said that?
I don't remember.
His approval rating dropped 20% amongst Republicans. They will get eaten by that base, which is still Trump. It's just pro-Trumpism. They eat that shit up, man. About 50% of them eat that shit up. Hook, line, sinker. They're all in till death do they part.
So I don't know. I don't think we will see accountability. I don't think we'll see it. At least not with the members of Congress. I don't think we will see accountability there.
More than 535 defendants have been arrested. The FBI said they've yet to identify more than 300 individuals believed to have committed violent acts on the Capitol grounds, including over 200 who have assaulted police officers. At least 165 defendants have been charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers or employees, including more than 50 who were charged with using a deadly or dangerous weapon or causing serious bodily harm to an officer. At least 190 defendants were also indicted by grand juries, and at least 13 defendants have pleaded guilty, including 3 oath keepers who have agreed to cooperate with the government. At least 9 others have pleaded guilty to misdemeanor charges.
Yeah, that's intense that 300 people 6 months later that are wanted for violent acts on the Capitol have yet to be identified. And to the lower Matt's point earlier, accountability, the illusion of accountability is the American way. It's one reason Nixon was pardoned and why Trump was impeached twice with no consequences.